everything changes.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome into the channel, and I thought I would do an interesting video for you guys today. So we talk a lot about on this channel tracking your numbers, doing accounting and bookkeeping, expenses. I've showed you guys spreadsheets. I've showed you guys my Reseller Genie, which is a fantastic inventory and tracking program for your accounting, bookkeeping, and inventory. I'll link all that below, the videos and the links to my Reseller Genie. But I thought I would actually take you guys through a federal tax filing. Now I'm gonna have to black out a lot of these screens because they do include a lot of my personal information. I just finished with my federal 2020 taxes that we file here in 2021. I do mine through H&R Block. You can use TurboTax or Quicken or any of the other programs. I feel like H&R Block is the easiest to understand. So I'm gonna do a demo on H&R Block. I'm gonna show you exactly what it looks like while you file your taxes and the screens that they walk you through. I think a lot of people understand how to track their numbers or what numbers they might need, and maybe some of you don't. And so that's why it's great to see this screen. It actually walks you through, like a box pops up and goes, what was this number? And then the next box pops up and goes, what was this number? And then what was this number? And what was this number? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think it's really great if you guys could see how that works. So I'm gonna take you through mine. Mine is finished mostly. I got a little bit more to do before I submit it. I have to submit mine because for those of you that don't know, I'm buying a new house and they used my 2018-2019 taxes because we applied for that house in July of last year. It's still not done. And because it's not done and we haven't closed and we're in a new year, new tax season, they want my 2020 taxes from last year to see how I did, to make sure that I didn't go out of business basically, which is fine. So I had to get them ready for them as soon as possible before my normal April 15th filing. I usually wait till the last minute because why not? It doesn't matter for me, but now that the loan company wants it, I waited, or I can't wait. So anyways, let's take you over to the screen. I'm gonna show you the numbers. I'll do like a side-by-side with my spreadsheet, and then I'll show you exactly what the screen does that walks you through it step by step. Also, when you're done watching this video, consider getting the help of a licensed CPA if you are still confused, still don't understand, and have no idea, you're lost, you don't know what's going on, or you just need that extra help. Mark II, Not Your Dad's CPA, is a licensed CPA with reselling experience. He is a reseller himself. He is a part of our Facebook groups and the Instagram. He knows what's going on, and he knows how this stuff works. So I'll link his website below, along with a discount code to sign up if you decide to take his Reseller CPA Tax Academy through me. It'll give you a discount and some money off of your bill. So let me jump over to my screen. I'll show you the screen share, and hopefully you guys understand this, and this helps you out a lot more and makes it so you're not so scared of filing your taxes. Okay, so welcome into my screen, guys. And again, I use H&R Block. You can use TurboTax or Credit Karma or Quicken or whatever you want, but I think that this is the easiest. I've experimented with the other ones, and I still find this one the easiest, as any of the other ones comparably are. So I'm gonna show you through these screens. Anywhere that you see any kind of blacked out or redacted areas is obviously my personal information or just information I can't share. But this is also a sample. I've only put in some of my numbers, and so I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to actually file a self-employed tax return through H&R Block. So you can see them up in the left, and I've got self-employed. So basically they have some options. You'll just choose the self-employed, or they have a little survey of questions that you can answer, and it'll recommend the best one for you. But if you owned a business and had that kind of income, it almost always recommends self-employed, unless you had like a regular job and a self-employed. So then below that, you can see we're working on 2020 taxes. Of course, you're always working on last year's taxes. It's 2021. Federal owe. So currently it shows that I owe the federal government $16,524. Again, I have a lot more to input. Right now, that's just that. Some of my numbers will make that go up. Some of my numbers will make that go down, and we'll figure out where it is. The other cool thing about H&R Block, they keep 7 years of your taxes, so you can see previous taxes, and then you have your account settings. You can save and quit. Now, self-employed is about $80, I believe, is what I pay for this. Now, if you were to go in to any kind of like Liberty Tax or H&R Block office or any of that, even TurboTax, you're going to pay for a software to use it. It's well worth it. If you're getting a refund, they can usually pay for it out of your refund. If you owe the government, then they'll just tack it on to a separate credit card because you send your federal owed money to the IRS. If you are paying H&R Block for their software, you'll have to charge that to a credit card, which is what I do, or a debit card or what have you. So It's very easy, and it's very worth the $80 once you learn how to do it. You can also, before you submit and pay the bill, you can save it as a PDF and send it to a CPA and have a CPA look through it. You can work with an H&R Block agent. So you have a lot of options if you do this. So, okay, so basically what happens is you have an overview, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to click the overview. And so you can see the main page. You can click federal, state, and file. So federal does federal, state does state, and file is obviously where you file it. We don't have state income tax in Florida, so we don't have to do this. But if you do have your state one, it will walk you through it. And every state's different, of course. So let's just start with the federal. And I'm going to go to the beginning of my return because it doesn't remember where I was. And so this is just very, very easily your basic information. And so this is going to ask you your name, your status, your date of birth. If it's for a taxpayer who passed away, or if you're legally blind or disabled, you would fill that out. You have dependents, where you fill out information about your children or any dependents. Your filing status, where you'll pick married, single, head of household, etc. And your summary is your social security number or your business EIN or anything like that. I'm not going to click those screens because it does have personal information on it. But this is basically just figuring out who you are. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to click the income screen. And the income screen is going to show your income, exactly what your income is. So here, it's my self-employment or business income. If you had a W-2, it would have another screen next to it with your W-2, like if you had a job. If you had multiple jobs, it would have multiple little squares for each of those. So this is my business, Worldwide Sales LLC, and you can add, like if you want to add a W-2, you'd come down here and press add it. But let's just revisit what I've put in so far with my business. So I just called it direct selling, which is when you go through this and you add a business, it'll ask you those questions. You can click add a business and you can choose like what you are, taxi ride share, like if you were Uber, beauty services, real estate, and you can put mine isn't listed here. So let's go back since I already have mine in. And we're just going to edit what I've already done. Again, I have a ton of stuff to do here. This isn't at all close to being done. But so when you add this, you'll have 3 sections. The first section is business details, which we're going to click down. And again, this is blacked out because it's showing my personal information and what have you. General business information. So we'll just scroll down here again. It asks you, start or close your business in 2020. No, I didn't start or close a business in 2020. I don't have any employees because it's just me technically, and I am not counted as an employee. Inventory, or are you required to file a Form 1099? So let's go to inventory, and we can click on that, and it says, did you have inventory? Yes, I had inventory. I want to claim cost of goods sold, or I need to enter my beginning and ending inventory. Most people do not do this, and this is why I recommend to you guys, you don't want really a beginning and ending inventory carryover. You just want to claim your cost of goods sold. So when you click that, it's going to ask, what were your cost of items purchased for sale? So last year I spent $72,500 on inventory. I know that sounds insane, but when you think about it, we bought that tractor trailer, cost me $3,000 or $4,000. The pallet of remotes cost me $9,000. All of my normal thrifting and boxes, we spent about $10,000 on. We were spending almost $1,000 a month, almost $12,000. So those 3 purchases alone were what, 25, 26,000. And then every time I do a deal on Shopify where I sell a box for you guys, and let's say I sell it for $200 and your payout is $160 and I made like $40, I send you a payment for $140, or excuse me, for $160. And that's a cost of goods sold because I bought your box and I sold it to someone else, even though I did it all online. So that's a $140 cost of goods. I sell boxes every day, $200, $300, $400 a day. So that's where I come up with $72,566 in cost of goods. Your cost of materials and supplies. So that's if, like, let's say you make candles and you're buying wax and then turning the wax into candles. Your wax is your material. So that's something that you would keep track of. And then cost of labor. That is if you hire actual labor to do like some of the printout work or some of the manufacturing or things like that. And you can learn more on each one of these numbers. So then that's where I have my cost of goods, $72,566. And now when I click next, it does it for me and it puts it in. Now let me show you guys what exactly would happen if I was to go down here and change that number. So do you guys see how I owe $16,000? Let's say that I had only spent $62,000 in cost of goods. Now I can change this back before it's submitted. They don't care. You click next. Do you see how I owe them 20 grand now? Because I had a less three. See, the latest change was 38.85. I moved that number down by X amount of money and I lost X amount of credit. I moved it down 10 grand. I spent 10,000 less than cost of goods. And so that cost me an extra almost 4 grand in taxes. So let me go back since I'm actually working on this legitimately. And let's go ahead and change that back to 72,000 where it belongs. And so there we go, 16,524. Okay, so that's all you'll really do with that. Now the business income, when you click on that, it's gonna ask you to add any 1099 that you had. Now, if you got a 1099 from eBay or PayPal or Amazon, you'd add each one individually, right? You're gonna add each single one. And when you click on that, you'll choose what kind of 1099 it is and you'll press next and it'll add it. Now, and I'm gonna go back and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you edit it. But I have 1099s and I also have other income. And other income is like, let's say that you had a yard sale every weekend. You don't get a 1099 for that. So only your numbers keep track of that. So for example, I have YouTube money that they didn't send me a 1099 for. And I don't know why. I make over 20 grand on YouTube, but I still keep track of that. And so I have to report that income. So let me show you first the 1099s. And you guys can see, here's a PayPal 1099 that I entered. It's for 186,000, almost 200 grand through my PayPal account, right? And so, so when you put that in there, you'll just put the person that paid you, which is on the 1099, and then you'll put the amount. And then obviously they don't usually withhold any federal, so you just put 0. So if I change this number, again, it's just gonna move how much I owe up and down. If I put more income, I'm going to owe more taxes. If I was to put less income, I would owe less taxes because I made less money, right? So that makes sense. Not going to change that. So then on your separate income, I have 47,584. Now this tells you, look, include any cash, any checks, or credit card sales from products sold and services provided. Don't include any income that's on your 1099s or income reported on 1099Ks. Don't report any prizes or awards, insurance receipts, or legal damages. So that's what you don't put here, and what you put there is everything else. So credit card sales for products sold and services. So I don't have that, but cash, I don't really do much cash, couple transactions. Don't really get many checks, couple checks this year, 2 or 3. But all my YouTube sales, all of my other stuff that was not on a 1099 would go in there. And so that's it. What you would do you see, they don't ask you to break it down. They just want a complete total. If you were to get audited, they'd say, what was the 47? Well, I made 40 grand on YouTube and I made $7,000 worth of checks and cash and random other stuff that I did. And they'd say, oh, cool. Can you prove that? Yes. Here's my bank account with my YouTube deposits. Here's 12 months of deposits, 40 grand. And I should have an invoice book showing every time that I got cash. And then any checks that I got will show a deposit history in my bank account. So that's how you would prove it. And so that is your income. And that's pretty much all you do for the gross. Now this is gross income. This does not include, obviously we put our cost of goods up here. This does not include anything like your shipping or your materials. This is simply the gross total amount, everything put in there. And that will total it up, right? And so I've still got to put in a lot of other stuff. But if you guys see 186,339 plus 47,584, so far I've put in about almost 240,000 in income. I've still got a little bit more to put in there. My company will gross in the 350,000 to 400,000 range, trying to get to $500,000, but it's not working so well because of COVID. But anyways, because people don't have a lot of money. But yeah, so you'll insert this, and then when I have another income, I have another 1099 I have to add from managed payments, from eBay. I have to add another Amazon affiliate, an Amazon one. I have to add my Shopify one. So yeah, so we'll get in there, and add all this additional income. So that's the income. That's as easy as it is. Now the business expenses. This is where I stress to you guys to track these numbers, because this is all you need and you can finish this. So we have a car and truck expense, right? When you edit the car and truck expense, it asks for my car, which obviously I've got right there. And when you edit it, it just asks you, what date did you use it for business in 2020? I had it on January 1st. I used it for 12 months. Okay. Do you own it? Yes, I own the BMW. No, I lease it. If you have a lease, you can do that. But yes, I own mine. Check any that apply. Did you stop using it? This is one of 5 vehicles. I use this vehicle for more than one business. No. Tell us about your miles drove. I drove 10,000 miles last year, and about 60% of it was business. I don't really leave the house for personal very much, not compared to business. If I leave to like go to the warehouse or go buy a deal or go meet someone or look at inventory, I'm usually driving my car because I don't pick up inventory. I have it shipped to me or I get a truck or whatever. I don't use my car for that, but I do drive my car to go look at the material. So how many miles do you commute between your home and work? Well, I don't have a regular job. If you're driving to an office every day or a set place, you would say, okay, it's 10 miles each way. But I don't drive anywhere. Anywhere that I drive is temporary. It's a one-time shot, and you don't include that. So that's why that. And then you could do standard mileage, actual, and it breaks all this stuff down for you guys. So I don't have to show you. How much did you spend on gas, oil, and lubrication for the entire year? I don't claim my gas receipts. I guess I probably should. My car's half electric, but my car only has to get one oil change a year between 7,500 and 10,000 miles. So I had one oil change this year in 2020, and it cost me 300 and change. I just put 300. Tires, batteries, and repairs. I only replaced 2 of my tires this year. The other 2 are about to be replaced, but I didn't replace them at the time. They were $500 for the 2 fronts. My 2 rears this year are about 500 each. They're about $1,000 for the rears. They're just more expensive. My tires are about $1,500 a set. Garage and rent, I don't have any of that. And then insurance and licenses, my car's about $220 a month, $230 a month in insurance. And then interest on car loans, I pay about, I don't know, 50 or $550 a month in interest on the car loan, so $6,500 in interest. Personal property tax, that's how much I cost to register the car. My car's $36 a year to register. And then any fees and tolls. So you can claim all that. And so then when I put it in, there's no change. There's none of that. So I can go back to income. Let's keep going down here. Let's go next. All right. And see, so this is what they're going to, let me go back here. I don't know why it's going self-employment or business. Sorry about this. Edit. So I just wanted to get out of the car screen, excuse me. Okay, so we're back here to expenses. And so then you have contract labor. That's if you paid anyone as an outside contractor. So I do business with Star and Keith, and every time that I send them money, it's part of that. Depreciable property. This is where you claim any of the stuff that is equipment that you bought. So I'll show you guys. I bought audio cables that I needed for YouTube. I bought a stand for my computer. I bought a wireless microphone system, a camera housing, an audio cable again. I bought a new desk, and I bought a new ring light last year. Don't ask. Anyways, so that came up to, I didn't spend very much this year on equipment. I spent, what did that say? Let's go back down here. I spent $531. The year before, I spent like $2,500 because we had to buy a new computer. We had to buy a new camera. We had to buy a bunch of stuff, the GoPro. So I spent a lot, but not this year. Home office, the maximum you can take is $1,500, which is what I have if you have 300 square feet or more. Dedicated space, I did. I had like 330 square feet, so that was the $1,500 one. Meals and entertainment, I spend way more than this on meals and entertainment. I take people to business dinners, especially when we're in Vegas for eBay Open or conferences and we have dinners and we talk about work the whole time and make deals. That's a meal and entertainment. A meal could be $100, $150, $200 for 4 people, 5 people. So $700 for meals and entertainment, and that was just a couple of meals, couple of different things. I don't claim a lot on that. I just don't like to do it. Mortgage interest, this is what I pay interest on my house for the year, $7,300. That's deductible. Office expenses. This is if you have like cleaning or you rent an office or things like that. I didn't rent an office this year. I do have rent in a warehouse space in the back of my friend's building, but he doesn't have a lease with me and I don't have written, I just kind of give him cash. So I don't claim it because there's really no written proof and I just don't want to raise any flags with the IRS. It's just something I pay $500 for instead of going out and signing a lease for $1,500 a month. So if you do have a rent or even a storage unit, you can certainly expense that off. So other interests, this would be credit cards or banks or stuff like that. I use a few credit cards. I tend to pay them off pretty quickly. So honestly, I don't pay a lot of interest. I only spent $600 on interest for the entire year, which is compared to, you know, the tens of thousands I spend back and forth on credit cards. Remember, you just saw I spent $70,000 on inventory. A lot of that I put on credit cards and then pay it off. So I only spent $600 to borrow all that money for the year. Not bad. In fact, I'd love to get that down to just about nothing. Supplies. So this is envelopes, stuff that you use up. Envelopes, ink, toner. I don't use ink and toner anymore. I have a thermal printer. Just my labels, my boxes, and my envelopes cost me about $1,300 for the year. Which is about right. I buy them every couple of months, and it's $300 or $400. Self-employed health insurance. If you pay for your own health insurance, it's deductible. That's what I pay every year for my health insurance, just as me. And my fiance has her own business and own expenses. She takes care of all her own stuff. And then other business expenses. So let me show you guys what this is. So let's edit this one. So you can deduct the business part of your cell phone. Mine is $790. And the reason for that is because I spend $1,580 on my cell phone every year, which sounds like a lot of money, $1,580, right? You're like, oh my God, on one phone? That's $131 a month. But I also have a hotspot and different things on that as well. So $131 a month is my total cell phone bill for unlimited, all the data I can use, my hotspot and my Apple Watch, which is about an extra, the watch and the hotspot are like an extra $25 a month. So my cell phone bill is about $100 for the phone, cut it in half, $50. That's $600 a year in cell phone bills, and then the other $190 is about half of what I spend on the hotspot and the other stuff. So I only claim half of it. Same with the internet, $680, because obviously I use them for personal stuff as well. So I use them for way more business, but I split the bill in half and put it in there, never a problem. Bank fees, $140. My Bank of America account is free. All my accounts are free because I have a high enough balance and because I spend enough out of the account every month. The reason I have a $140 fee is because I have another bank account with another bank that I use as a backup, and I don't keep balances and things in that. So I pay like $12 a month for that, and I'm fine with that simply because I need that bank account for some other reasons. Shipping. I spent $20,000 on shipping this year, and honestly, that's probably low. That's all the receipts and the proof I could find. I know there's more, which, like I said, I've got to get in here and edit. I think I spent $25,000. eBay fees, $2,000. Now, of course, my stores was shut off for the last 2 months of the year, so this is only 10 months worth of eBay fees from that account, $2,000. So that store only did about $25,000. It did about $25,000. But this doesn't include the PayPal fees either, and this is 2 months of being shut off. The Shopify store fees, where we focused all of our stuff on. Remember, Shopify only takes 4% when you're doing the PayPal payment. They take 2%, but then they also have 4% in the store fee. $7,600. So you guys can see we really transferred over from doing way more eBay or way less eBay to way more Shopify fees. Now I've got to put the second eBay fee store in here. I'm going to put eBay fees number 2, and that one's probably about twice that much, about 35 to 4. So that store did about $4,000 in comparison to this store doing about $2,000 a month. So probably, or 24,000. So yeah, about $2,000 a month on this store. The other one did about $4,000-ish, and total about $40,000. So the two stores together, eBay stores probably did $60,000-65,000. The Shopify store did over $100,000, which you saw in the video. Now, my email and website I pay $184 for. Photo editing app I bought for $20 to help with my thumbnails. PayPal fees. So there you can see the increase because all the PayPal fees were $7,000. That was all towards pretty much eBay store stuff. My MailChimp, that's my email service. I pay almost $200, or actually a little more than $200 a month for that one. I have 2 of them. $2,460. My thumbnail software, I bought another one. It's called PicMonkey. $84. That one's about $7-8 a month. So you can see all the stuff. Anything that's a website you pay for, anything that's PayPal and eBay, Shopify, Poshmark fees, bank fees, shipping fees, internet and cell phone, anything that isn't cost of goods and isn't on the other expense list. So when we go back, and they give you, look, they give you a breakdown. Internet fees, cell phone, dues, subscriptions, training, shipping, bank fees. Do not include your personal portion of the internet and cell phone, which I didn't. I cut it in half. Don't include your business clothing, hairstyling, gifts, bad debts if you're a cash business. Charitable donations do not go here. There's a part for that. Vehicle expenses, I already showed you the vehicle place. Home office, I showed you that. Depreciable property like your equipment, I showed you that. Health insurance, I showed you that. And retirement plan contributions you don't put on there. So let's go ahead and just close this out. And so my other business expenses were $40,000, $41,000. So total business expenses, when you add it up, we got 11 and 14 is 25, 26, 27, 28, 35, 42, 82, 84, 85, 86, 87, about $88,000 in expenses. Just other expenses cost me $88,000. So there you go. So that's how the 240 brings me down to a net clear profit, and I'm not done, of course, of $161,000. Now, also, when I'm finished, this will probably end up around $200,000 to $220,000. Clear, clean profit. Like, that's after cost of goods, and that's after all of my other stuff. So you guys can see they clearly calculate that for you. So that means I'm bringing home $13,400 and whatever amount of dollars. Like, that is my bring home. Is almost 14 grand. When I'm done, though, it's going to be, like I said, maybe just call it $200,000, I guess is going to be. I'm just taking a stab in the dark. So about 16,600 bring home after everything's said and done. Okay, and hopefully more this year. So when you're done that, you just click the next screen. And then it's going to come down here, and it's going to give you your totals. So this is taxable, and what they do with taxable income is they take it. So you guys can see that the taxable income total is $81,884. I don't know how they calculate this. Last year was $120. Once I'm finished, it'll be up around that same number. You can see that the net profit was $160, but the taxable is only $81. I have no idea how the IRS gets that. You do have a standard deduction. You have credits. You have all this stuff. Whatever. Okay, so we go to the next screen, and it's going to move to deductions. And again, they put in my mortgage interest, they put in the real estate taxes that I paid, they put in the sales tax that I paid, and they put in a qualified business income deduction, QBI, which you can read about, is $12,223 for me. So you'll fill all those screens out. They're pretty easy if you have any of that stuff. And then itemizing was best. I saved a few dollars over standard. So then they show my self-employment tax, my self-employed health. How much I paid in self-employment tax this year would be $5,700. I'm paying $2,400 I paid towards my health. $8,200 total for self-employment. Now, self-employment tax you have to pay. It's like 15.3%. And they calculate that for you. And then when you come up to your summary, they have recovery rebate credits of $1,800. I don't get that, so it actually gives me an error that says I'm not entitled to the $1,800. That's stimulus checks. I never got the stimulus, and if you make over $75,000, you don't make it. Well, obviously, you guys could see that all of my incomes are over 75. They're far higher than that, so I don't get this. It puts it on there, but if you get that, you fill this out and you put that you got it, or you didn't get it, or you're entitled to it. At the end, it'll just zero it out. If you make too much money, you won't get it. Then finally, you just go to your taxes, and it asks you, Affordable Care Act, did you have the government health care? Well, obviously, no, I had my own health insurance, which I filled out earlier, so it zeroes that out. And then deferral of self-employments. If you want a deferral, which means you're asking for an extension to pay your self-employment taxes, I'm not, so I would just delete that, and it will zero that out. And then finally, you just go to your wrap-up, and it's going to wrap up your federal taxes. I think I'm going to have to black something out here. It asks if you want to, click on that. Yep. Do you want to make payment vouchers for this year's federal quarterly? I'll pay my federal balance due in installments. This is if you want to make a payment plan. I'm paying this in full. Your IRS PIN number, additional forms. So everything else that you would want to fill out here, you could fill out. And then you would just click next. And then underpayment penalty. If you are underpaying them, there'll be a penalty, and you just click on that. You have to fill that out, so I haven't gone that far yet because I haven't gone to the payment screens. I'm paying in full, so there won't be any penalties. I don't owe them any money. This is all that I owe them right now. I'm going to make a payment in full before April 15th. Underpayment penalty is if you can't make the full payment by April 15th and you're working out a payment plan, they will tell you what the interest and fees and stuff would be. I'm not going quite that far because I'm not ready to make the payment just yet. I'm going to do that in a couple days. I'm working with my mortgage lender to make sure everything is good. But that was pretty much it. The next few screens, if you have state, you would do state, and then you would go on to the payment screen and either make them a payment in full, or you would set up this payment plan and they'll tell you you owe us $1,000 today and $500 a month for the next, whatever, 12 months, 14 months. And then you would set that up and you'd give them all your bank account information. They'll withdraw that. You'll file it, it'll certify, it'll give you a copy of it, it'll give you your confirmation number, etc., etc. And that's it. It's really not that intimidating, guys. It really isn't. I have a little bit more work to do. Like I said, I'm going to finish it up. Today's Monday, so I'm going to finish it up Tuesday, Wednesday, probably by the end of the week and get it out. I got to get it over to my mortgage people. I have plenty of time. It's not due till April 15th, but don't wait around for this. So anyways, long story short, that's how you file taxes self-employed through H&R Block. It's really, really easy. And you can see if you have all those numbers at the ready in a spreadsheet, or better yet, inside of your My Reseller Genie,
you can absolutely just pull the numbers out, plug them into the box, and click the next issue. But if you don't have the numbers, then you're going to be racing around trying to figure out each box's numbers and trying to fill it in. What's great about H&R Block is if you get to a box that you don't know, you can just save the screen and then come back to it, open it up, and select the button that says go to the last screen I completed. It'll open up, and then you can fill that number in and then continue along your way. And then also, of course, if you have a CPA, he can help you. You can sit down with him and do it there, or you can finish this and then send him the copy. Like where I'm at now, I could save this and send it to my CPA and say, check all this over, make sure I'm good. And then they could check it over, call me back and say, hey, everything looks good. Go ahead and hit submit and hit pay. And you'll be done. So that's it. That's federal taxes. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns before I let you go that far? Please remember, I'm not a CPA. I'm not licensed. I cannot give you financial advice. I am simply showing you how I do it. I'm probably the first person to ever take you behind the scenes of taxes. I think I'm the first person. With that said, if you need a CPA, a licensed one, Mark II, Not Your Dad's CPA, is available. I'll link his website below along with the sign up, and he has an amazing Resellers Tax Academy. He will teach you how to get all these numbers, where to get them from, what numbers you need, what you don't. He'll show you everything that I just showed you, but better from a licensed CPA. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I appreciate it. Thank you as always. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if it helps you out and it makes you not scared of taxes anymore. And if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel and turn those notices on with that little bell, and you will get every notification for every video I post. And until next time, guys, good luck to you. Enjoy it. Don't be scared of taxes, and we'll talk soon.